Hey guys, welcome back to At the Table Reviews with BGA. Today we're going to be talking about Vegas dice game. This is the reprint of Las Vegas from Ravensburger Games, and if you have that game or have played it, you'll notice that this looks almost nothing like that. But once you open the box, it is pretty much exactly the same as the game you remember. What we have though is a nice, beautiful little reprint. It's in this black die-shaped box, which I love. And I think they're actually selling it at Target. So this is mass market appeal. So it's not the hobby box, which we all know and love and doesn't look very good. So I'm just going to run through it real quick and kind of give you a good sense of, how the game plays if you haven't played it before. But this is a classic. It's Rudiger Dorn. It's been out for a while. I don't know if it's been in print for the last few years, but it is one that we've played a lot. This is a game that Drew put in his top 10 of all time, so I think it was in our top 20 when our top 100 list, because we all enjoy it as a nice, quick filler. It's just a dice roller, but it really works. So let's get into it. So we have this nice new box. It pops open here. You got some plastic here holding stuff in place. When you pull out the components, you'll see that they're pretty much the same as what you remember. The tables they're thicker, they're nice, they got a nice back, they're polished and shiny. So the components definitely got an upgrade. This is Ravensburger, at the high end of the component scale, not like the Stefan Feld reprints that recently came out where they're using the same old Alea component quality and it's not very good. The money cards are, as you remember them, they are cards, not paper money, thank God. You have a nice deck here. You'll need to shuffle it the first time you play. And basically what these are going to be is your victory points. So whoever has the most money at the end of the game wins. How do you get the money? Well, let's run into the game real quick and I'll show you. So we're going to pull out our dice. And we have dice for up to 5 players. Apologies for the dice noise on the microphone. And so I'm just going to set this up for 3 just to show you how it works. Keep in mind though, if you play with less than 5 players, there are neutral dice. So the way that works is with 5 players, everybody gets 8 dice. With less than 5, you're going to get a certain number of neutral dice, and then there's a neutral player. Now this is a variant. You don't have to do it, but it gives you more dice to work with. It allows you to block other people. It adds a really interesting strategic element to the game, and I like it a lot. So I don't remember if that's in the original. I feel like it is, but it's not one we frequently played with, but it's one I wish we had because it's pretty cool. So the way the game works is we're going to set up all our tables, 1 for each number, 1 through 6. Everybody gets their 8 dice. So I'll just do a couple here real quick. On your turn, you roll all of your dice. All right, let's set some money out here first, actually. So how it works is when you set up the money, you go up to 50,000. So if you pull something greater than 50,000, you just put out 1 card. If you pull something, so that's 60, and that's only 30. So in this case, we only have 30. So we keep adding until we get to 60,000 or 50,000. So you end up with multiple cards out. And I'm just pulling from different parts of the deck here because these are not thoroughly shuffled, but you get the idea. And then you put them in order. All right. So then you have, these are the values of each of the tables. And so basically we're just competing for the tables. It's area control with dice. So you roll all your dice, you separate them out by value. So you have 3 5s, 2 2s, a 1, a 5, and a 6. You have to play all of one value. So in this case, I would play all my 5s, both my 2s, or a 4, a 1, and a 6. Depends on what you want to do. So you look at the different values corresponding to the different tables. So you're like, okay, the 1 is a 90. Might be good to get a 1 out there. The 5 is also a 90, and I have 3 5s, so I'm going to do that, right? That's my turn. Now, next player comes up. Let's say it's green's turn. There you go. All right. And so now green has rolled and they also have 3 5s. They have 3 1s. They have a 4 and a 6. So in this case, they might say, you know what? Maybe I just start going on the 4. Nobody's going to compete for that, but they have time, right? They could go for the 5s, but one thing to keep in mind is that if you tie on any of these tables, you're canceled out. So in this case, nobody wins anything because you can't split the cards. So if somebody came along, let's say red came along and threw 1 5 down here, and these guys are tied at 3 each, red gets the 90. So in that case, green's probably a little wary of that. So they're going to go ahead and throw their 1s up here on the other 90. Because let's not mess around with this, right? So now it's white's turn. Oh, white's throwing dice on the floor. White's going to roll his dice. White has 2 5s, 2 4s, a 2, a 1, a 3, and a 6. So this might not seem that great, and in some cases it's not. But in this game, having a lot of variety is nice because putting all of your dice out can be dangerous. Well, if I put 3 dice out here and then someone else does the same thing, or if they get to the end of their turn, and I'll show you this in a minute, and all they have left is that, you could be locked out of something and have not put your dice out. So you kind of want to diversify a little, but not too much. There's kind of a balancing act here. So in this case, I'm looking at 2 5s. He already has 3 there. It's probably not worth it. But you know what? I'll throw a single 2 out there, and then I'll start, moving on the other things, because I know that these guys have already used 3 out of their 8 dice. So then blue goes. Blue has 2 more 5s, but right now he feels comfortable. So he's going to go ahead and throw out a 4. All right. And then we got green again. Green's got 2 5s. Lots of 5s, lots of 5s. So let's go ahead and throw a 3 out there. Okay. Back to white. White's got a couple 6s, a 1, a 3, 2 5s. Let's go ahead and throw the 6s out there. It's 40. It's not nothing. All right. Blue's turn. So we got a 1, 2, a 5, and a 4. Let's go ahead and lock down those 4s. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish out this round so you guys get a good sense of what we're playing here. So now this is an interesting roll. So now green can block out blue. They can use pretty much the rest of their dice and try to block them so that blue gets nothing. Or he can just lock down his. And knowing that the other guys don't really have that many dice left, that's probably not the best move. So in this case, he's going to be mean, and he's going to block that. So now nobody is getting this. It also means that if white comes along and rolls 1 5, they could pick it up. So it's an interesting play. All right, so white did not roll a 5. They're not going to pull that off. Let's go ahead and drop another 2 in here just to be safe. Blue is hoping for a 5 here so he can take back his... he did not get it. Dangerous, dangerous. So he's going to throw his 6 down here because he only wants to play 1 die, hoping that he gets to keep it. Now green's hoping for a 5. Green does not get it. Green gets a 3. So green is out now. And so that's the thing. On your last die roll, it just goes wherever it goes. So that can hurt you sometimes. So it's a good thing to keep in mind. White's got a 5, and white is super excited about that because if blue does not get a 5 now, white gets 90,000 bucks just for throwing that 1 die out there. All thanks to green. So that was an interesting move. Blue does not get the 5 he wants. He gets a 3, which he'll do because that gets him in second place on the 3 table. White throwing more dice on the floor. Let's see here. So we have a 4, a 6, and then whatever we roll once we pick this die up, a 1. So we'll go ahead and throw down on a 4 here because that might turn into something. And now blue hopes he gets a 5. He does not. But he blocked this, so now nobody gets anything, which actually hurt him. So that's not good. And white gets a 4 and a 1. He's going to go put the 1 up because he doesn't want to... Actually, he'll put the 4 in because there's only 1 card there. And then a 5, which doesn't really matter. All right. So once everybody's dice are out, you go down 1 to 6. So you see who won. Green gets 90K. White gets 60K. This is a tie. Nobody gets anything. This is a tie. Nobody gets anything. These guys cancel out. Harsh. White stole 90K. and then white gets 40k, and blue gets 20k. So what looked like a really good round for blue turned into a very bad round for blue, and that's kind of how this game ends up playing. Like, if you throw too much stuff out too early, you don't kind of have that flexibility. White had a lot of flexibility, and in the end, it gained him 190k in that round alone, whereas blue is now 170 behind. Now, the game is not that swingy generally, especially with more players, because you have more people out here, which is why with 3 players, we'd probably use the dummy dice. But you get the idea. Like, there's a lot of interesting things you can do. There's a lot of, you know, it can bounce back and forth very quickly. Blue could easily pick up 200k in the next round. And so you're going to go around and do this 3 times, 3 separate rounds to play through, and then see who has the most money in the end. And the final score of the winner is usually somewhere between 350 and 600,000. So it's a pretty big range. The game, though, takes 15-20 minutes. It's quick, it's easy. It scales from 2 to 5 pretty well, and it has nice quality components here. This is pretty much what was in the original game. These are a bit higher quality, and the box is much nicer. Kind of stands out. Now, will it fit on your shelf? Not really, but it's kind of this funny square shape designed for non-core gamers, but it is interesting, and it plays well with children. So this is definitely, this was already on our buy list. This was one of our top 25 games of all time. The new production is great. Nothing is worse, everything is better. So if you don't already own this game and you see it at your local Target, pick it up. This is not just another cheap, you know, Target game. This is a quality hobby board game from Rudiger, Dorn, Ravensburger, and this is the best production of it we've seen so far. So make sure you pick up Vegas Dice Game. They did change the name, so this is why I want to make sure you guys understand it is the same game. It is Las Vegas, and it is quite a great game if this is the type of thing you like. It is a lot of dice. All right, guys, that's everything for At the Table Reviews. This has been Vegas the Dice Game, and make sure you stop on by for our next video. And until then, have a good one. All right, bye.